I'm not mistaken, we're probably like 500 at home. Huh? So we're very average. Very average doesn't get it done in this league.
Does this feel like a little bit of a relapse to what happened earlier, or is this just a one-off, you think?
I think this is a one-off. I think, we played a really solid game, 34 assists and 9 turnovers, but the game got away from us defensively there in the fourth.
All right, so Steve Kerr is just calling it a one-off, but the Warriors' season performance maybe suggests that it's a trend. Because look at this. The Warriors have lost 6 games this season where they've led by 15 or more points. That's their most in any season over the last 25. So as for this year, the only team, right, with more blown big leads are the San Antonio Spurs. And speaking in terms of standings, they're the worst team in the West. So that's the company that the Warriors are keeping. So Perk, is Steph right? Are they just average?
Hell no, he's wrong. They're above average. They're not good. They're not great. But anytime you have Steph Curry on your team, I won't disrespect them and call them average because of his greatness and him being able to elevate this team, right, to make a playoff run or win basketball games. But I think, this is a learning process right now for the Golden State Warriors. Jonathan Kuminga, Pajinski, all of these young guys, right? They're figuring out the new them, right? The new wave, the new system. So I wouldn't call them average. They've been playing some exceptional basketball of late.
Yeah, I agree. When he used the word average, I guess what he's defining that as is anything but a championship team. That's average for us. We've won 4 championships in the last decade.
Get degrees.
Yeah, C's get degrees. Like, no. In the Bay Area, they're Stanford, and they're like Ivy League on the basketball court.
Or no way.
Oh, yeah, yeah, C's get degrees. We'll work it. But when I looked at this Warriors team, I just started thinking about a lot of times their strengths are no longer there.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, they struggled. A lot of close games. We used to talk about the Golden State Warriors as owning the third quarter, owning the second half. That's gone. We talked about them being strength in numbers. Now they're trying to search out roles for their players and changing the hierarchy of, okay, Steph is here. Now we need Draymond as the engine. Now is it Kuminga, or how are we going to win this game? And most importantly, how are we going to close that game? That was heartbreaking to watch that situation with Klay and sort of going for that foul and realizing, because he was not necessarily a factor late, but then to come in knowing that you need 3-point shooters and it doesn't work in that favor, it just feels like the avalanche. It was a snowball and it's an avalanche for him.
Well, and the pressures, right, if he's been benched in different games late in the fourth quarter and he's on the floor in this one, and you saw very clearly Steve Kerr going, don't foul, and then literally falling to his knees on the sidelines here, Brian. That's not really what you want to see.
Yeah, in all honesty, the fact that they're 500 is kind of a failure, because they should be a way better than 500 team. Even with the Draymond suspension, I'm just going to take that out. You mentioned earlier, you showed the full screen graphic there about what their record is in these games where they blow these big leads. But when you're a 500 team at home, I mean, that's not acceptable. 500 on the road means you should be a winning team at home. Janae, they used to be a great home team.
Correct.
And they're just, look at that. Like, a team that's 500 on the road should be in the top 6, quite frankly. And so you also compute that they've lost 19 games where they've been in clutch time. Well, they're 17 and 19. 19 clutch time games. This is really, coming into this break, they really got to be thinking we should have a lot more wins than we do.
No LeBron, no problem for the Lakers last night in Salt Lake City. They blew out the Jazz 138-122. Anthony Davis, he dominated the interior, posting 37 and 15. And Rui Hachimura, he was on from deep. He hit 6 threes en route to a career-high 36 points. D'Angelo Russell notched a career high of his own. He dished out 17 assists. And take a look at this. It was an offensive explosion by LA last night. And this stat is wild to prove it. AD and Rui Hachimura, they scored over 35 points against the Jazz. They became the first Lakers duo to do so in a game since Kobe and Shaq. That was in 2003. But at the end of the day, we know the Lakers are just going to go as far as LeBron James and Anthony Davis can take them. The thing is, if a couple of phone calls maybe went a little bit differently last week, we could have been saying the same thing about a different duo, because the Golden State Warriors, they tried to make a bid for LeBron James to pair him alongside Steph Curry. That's what our Adrian Wojnarowski and Ramona Shelburne reported. We and every other show all over the place, we've already talked about this. But last night, for the first time, we got to hear Steph Curry on this topic.
I'm assuming that every team is making calls that every fan base or media group would know about it. It would maybe normalize the conversations that happen, in the front office especially around the trade deadline when you're exploring around the league who's available, who's not, and gauging interest on that. So obviously a guy like LeBron, you would probably call.
Of course you would call, because despite being in his 21st season, he's still one of the league's best. Just to put this in a little bit of perspective, right? He's scoring more than Kawhi, than Kat, than Zion. He's handing out more assists than friends of the show Point Book, Dame, and Jalen Brunson. He is knocking down the three ball at a higher clip than PG, Ant, and Luka. But despite that sustained individual success, LeBron and the Lakers, they are still just as close to 11th, right, as they are to being in 6th and solidly in the playoffs here. So here we are at the All-Star break. The dust has settled at least a little bit, as much as it ever can with the LeBron Lakers team here, right? But Brian, you have covered him for decades. Is staying in LA the best chance he has at winning title number 5?
I know you're asking me a yes or no question, but I'm going to expand it. Is staying in LA, where he wants to live and his family is, and he's going to make $50 million plus, and playing for the Lakers, the best chance? Yes. Because when he came to the Lakers, he didn't come to the Lakers to number one priority to win 6 championships. They hadn't been in the playoffs for 6 years. They were in a terrible position. He came to the Lakers because he wanted to live here and he wanted to give them an opportunity. Does he want the Lakers to try everything they possibly can to win? Yeah, but if all he cared about was getting a ring, he'd signed for the minimum with the Celtics. But that's not what he's going to do. So I understand the question. I understand what you're trying to get at, but I don't think it's fair to not frame it what's all in the real question he's looking at.
Well, I'm going to get at the question. And staying in L.A. is his best chance at winning the title. We got three or four more years of this Anthony Davis that we have been seeing this year. Okay? The Lakers are eye candy. LeBron James is eye candy. Anthony Davis is eye candy. This offseason, there's going to be a move that's going to happen, okay? And then all of a sudden, you start to fill in the gaps. And we know how LeBron is, right? He comes in the training camp like we saw this year, the great energy, because everybody got signed back. He was feeling good, feeling great about himself. Just imagine if he get another superstar caliber player in this locker room, how he's going to feel. This is the best fit. And it's perfect for him. We're talking about the most historical franchise in sports history. Well, one of them. I don't want the Celtic fans attacking me.
Yeah.
I'm already on a bad list, all right, but I still love y'all. Speaking the truth.
The grass is not always greener on the other side. And yesterday, Bobby Marks astutely listed a couple teams, right? The Knicks, the Sixers, and we've been talking about the Warriors. And while that might titillate us to put those stars together, the truth of the matter is exactly what Perk said. Playing with AD has done everything that we have requested for him to do. Now he's surrounded by pieces that ever since LeBron James had can I hold it for a second, the hourglass?
Yes, ma'am.
Ever since LeBron James had this hourglass, what have we seen his teammates do? Ball out of control, flying under the radar. Did you not notice D'Lo had 17 assists yesterday? Rui's hitting shots. Spencer's out there making an impact. Reeves has been playing well. They surprised the Celtics not too long ago with a signature win. They're stepping up their games. That means their assets are going to be better in the offseason, and I think that's the better play for LeBron James. Who wants to come play with LeBron and AD? Those two pieces, you add another, that's a real championship team again. But this team has struggled.
I got something that's been bothering me. Can I get it off my chest?
Please do.
You know, you have the internet trolls and you have a lot of people out there, you know, that are fans of different organizations, and they say, oh, well, why y'all discuss LeBron and the Lakers so much? Or why y'all talk about Steph and the Golden State Warriors so much? Because they earned it. We're talking about two of the greatest players to ever touch the damn basketball. And we don't know how much longer we have to celebrate them. So every chance we get, we're going to celebrate them. If you want us to celebrate your superstars, tell them they got to earn their stripes. Now, we're going to give credit when credit is due, but damn it, long as LeBron James is playing the game of basketball and long as Steph Curry is playing the game of basketball, damn it, we're going to celebrate them on a day-to-day basis. Whether their team is losing or not, the microscope is going to be on them, and you need to appreciate it.
Well, but that's why it is so wild to even think about the possibility.
I don't want to think about it.
Those players that you discussed could have been playing together. Because as much as, you know, the Lakers, they now have 3 picks that they can go out and use this summer, right? And so they're going to be able to bring more in than they would have been, offer more, and potentially get back more than they would have at the trade deadline. The piece that fits correctly and gives LeBron James a chance at maximizing the window that he has left. But a lot of people would say, well, if you just cared about championships, you would be going to pair up with Steph because they would win.
But Malika, don't get me wrong, okay? I want to see it, just not under them circumstances of LeBron.
Team USA.
Of LeBron
Yeah.
having to go to Golden State.